Yes, hello and welcome to doublejackl. This is the team from the doublejackl online and doublejackl club. And I introduce you a few partners we are speaking with, and I'm very happy to have our guest. This is Torsten, and I switch to see them all.
Good evening.
Here we are.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, Torsten. Hello, Dale. Let me
Hello,
introduce.
hello.
Dale is the sales officer from doublejackl. He is the partner for every question in case of what is doublejackl? How is doublejackl working? How are you able to earn money? How are you supporting charities and all this? And to introduce Torsten, he is the founder of the Love Your Nuts charity in South Africa. And yes, we want to have a small discussion all around your charity and how we are working together.
Thanks.
Give to you.
Thanks for
Dale.
having me.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction, Frank. I do appreciate it. So these are going to be something that we run on a weekly basis to overview the charities, the organizations that we want to work with, and that are endearing to us. So our mission is building a global charities community, focusing on the partnerships and making sure all 2 million global charities are funded. That's the number one. Then we like to celebrate our heroes. We like to interview the partners. So for me, one of the heroes is Torsten. There's no doubt. As you'll hear as this progresses, his stories, his anecdotes, I adore them thoroughly. And his outlook on life is something that can be very infectious to a lot of the people that we talk to. So from a personal growth standpoint, I think it's very important that we do this, that we acknowledge the charities, the partners that we're developing, because at doublejackl we want to focus on philanthropy. We want to focus on charitable social gaming, and getting to celebrate individuals like Torsten is just the cream of the crop to us. So yeah, that's a little bit of a segment now going into Torsten. So Torsten, can you just tell us a little bit about your story that you've so vividly told me in the past?
Yes, I'm a testicle cancer survivor. I had testicles years old. I was a teacher during that time and was preparing lessons for sex education for the little ones, and bought a children's book to talk on their level. And it was at a German school in Namibia. And lying in bed in the evening reading this book, there was a chapter on all the diseases and a little paragraph that said testicle cancer is most common between 15 and 45. While reading this, lying in bed, I checked my testicles and I felt a little lump, not bigger than the tip of my small finger. And then typical male, we don't go to the doctor. We don't share our feelings. We find 1,000 excuses that this can't be cancer. And I did the same thing, but 14 days later, I went to the doctor and it was aggressive cancer. So in a very short time, so I went to my GP on Monday. Tuesday, I was at the specialist. Thursday, they told me it's cancer. Friday morning, they removed the right testicle, and then 5 days later, I got the results. And I always say these 5 days were the worst days in my life because you don't know what's happening. Will I survive this? Headed sweat. So during that time, I made a bucket list that the places I like to see in the world before I die, because I've prepared myself a little bit. If the doctor tells me you don't have a lot of time left, then I thought, okay, I'm going to sell everything and I'm going to backpack till the money is done. Or hopefully it's the other way around. Luckily, it was the other way around. So it was early detected. And then I had chemotherapy. And when I had chemotherapy, there was a 12-year-old who had chemotherapy too. And being a teacher after my treatment when I was back at school, I thought all these boys that pass me on the corridor every day, they're 15 years and older, they'd risk, they all love their nuts, but they don't know that they should check them once a month. So
Yeah,
being a biology teacher, so I used one lesson a year where I said to them, no books out today, we're going to talk boobs and balls. Because girls were sitting in class. And then I said, well, both these cancers is self-examination, both these cancers you search for lumps, both these cancers, if you detect them early, you've got a good chance to survive. And I'm a living example. So I did that every year, and then 2006, a former student invited me for coffee, and he said to me, because you made us aware, I went to the doctor in time, I'm 16 years old, and you saved my life. And he's actually the reason I've started the charity, because I realized just because I'm open what happened to me, I save lives. Yes, it was in 95 in Namibia. It was pre-internet where you can find support groups, pre-social media. And I couldn't find any other guy in Namibia who had the same cancer. Typical. We men don't talk, so you can't find somebody. So my therapy was writing. So I've written a book. I've written it in German. It was published in Germany 2004. And when I moved to Cape Town 2007, my friends are more English and Afrikaans speaking. So they said to me, get it translated. So instead of going on a holiday, I spent money on a translation. And the English book is called Love Your Nuts. And with that book, I started a Facebook page and posted cheeky stuff in a humorous way about my cancer journey, because that's how I dealt with it. I used humor. So it would be on Friday, I would post, it's Fantastical Friday, whatever gets into your pants, make sure it's not testicular cancer. And the page picked up, and suddenly companies contacted me and said, well, we've got a men's health day, do you give talks? And then I said, well, being a teacher before, I don't find it embarrassing to talk about what happened to me. And actually, that Facebook page turned into a full-blown organization, which is Love Your Nuts today.
I was going to ask you just to introduce the introduction of Love Your Nuts as well, but you've nailed it. Then I just want to also go through my favorite thing that I've heard probably in the last 3 months, and that's your anniversary dinner.
Okay.
If you can just run us through that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I always celebrate the day the doctor told me, look, you're not going to die, but you need treatment. I always celebrate this as my second birthday. That's the 23rd of August. And on that day, I always invite guys, so guys only, for dinner. And there's only few things on the menu, and that is butternut soup, meatballs, and dessert is always a berries dessert. So I cover all the courses with something around balls, with butternut and meatballs and berry ice cream kind of thing. Yeah, that's how I celebrate my birthday for 21 years. So I always invite guys, and that's on the menu. Nothing else. So it actually doesn't fit together, but they all eat everything together. So, but that's what I do for my birthday, my cancer birthday.
Yeah, and it's good to celebrate it in a humorous way and make a note of it, because you are being the winds of change for this. You're making it less untalked about, less invasive, more of a harmonious conversation. I had a comment from somebody, what about a banana split?
Yeah. Well, that often happens on social media. If I post something, I have to, in the comments section, I have to slow down the guys and say, guys, it's still about testicular cancer, because well, that's why I use that's why I choose the title Love Your Nuts. Guys like to make jokes below the belt. Men love jokes below the belt. They all do. But if it turns into something serious, they don't talk. So with the title Love Your Nuts, which is testicular cancer education in a nutshell, they find it funny, but they suddenly realize it's actually a serious topic, and I'm in that age group, or my son is in that age group. So by using humor, I actually, I get their attention immediately.
Yeah, I mean, you caught my attention the first email that you sent me, where it was "Have a fantastical day." I was laughing.
Yeah.
Just
the word fantastical. The word fantastical, it was actually a marketing person that I know in Joburg. She said to me, she once replied to one of my emails and said fantastical. And since then I use that word. And I even use it in very formal emails if I write to the big corporates or whatever. And normally they will come back because just of that word, because at the bottom I always write, have a fantastical day. And it's a formal email, but it's got that little cheeky Love Your Nuts comment in it, and it breaks the ice. It really breaks the ice.
It is a brilliant one because you've made it so humorous, so engaging. It's easy to have the conversation. It's more of a ha ha ha, I'm going to check anyway kind of a thing. You know, and it just makes it better. Then one of the key things that I also wanted to just run through here is we've had a discussion about it. What does the future hold for Love Your Nuts? What would the actual fundraising be used for Love Your Nuts?
Yeah, I always say, once a guy knows he should check his nuts once a month, he will. Because it's our crown jewels, it's so important in our life, it's our future, if it comes to kids kind of thing. So deep down in our mind, it's engraved, it's so important, and nothing should happen to my crown jewels, to my balls. And we all got these, there's these grow a pair, have some balls. It all refers to the testicles. So it's in our vocabulary. And I always say, if I could reach every boy at the age of 11 and tell him he should check his balls, his nuts once a month, then nobody would die of testicle cancer anymore. Testicle cancer will still be there, but they will detect it early because they will check regularly. And if it's early detected, you've got a 96% chance to survive. So the aim of Love Your Nuts is to reach as many young men as possible, to make them aware. And that's why we focus on schools, because it's a young man's cancer. As soon as a boy gets into puberty, he's actually at risk because it develops out of sperm cells that go mad and turn into cancer cells. That's why I say from 11 years old, if I can reach all the schools and have access to schools with the gaming app that we plan, because kids love to play games. And if the app should be for free, that kids download it and they can win something. And in a humorous way, you travel through your body. So that's where we're focusing on, that the funds we raise goes to developing a gaming app that kids can play, and they travel through their body and they learn about all the cancers, not testicular cancer only, because then I only focus on boys, and I like to include women as well, because women are at home, mothers are at home, and they've got the 11-year boy at home. And if the 11-year boy says, I feel there's something on my ball, that she doesn't think, I'll just stop. That she knows it's a young man's cancer. So I would like to reach girls as well. So that's the aim of Love Your Nuts, to develop a gaming app that is free, available worldwide.
I love it. I love it. Then I just want to run through this with you. So how did you see the value of doublejackl with Love Your Nuts? What sold you to come on board with us to look to grow the brand and to grow the funding?
It's actually quite easy to answer. If I look at my social media followers, they're mainly South African. And the majority of South African, they don't have the money to really donate a lot, that I can get a gaming app developed which costs 1.6 million rand, which is like $100,000. So in South Africa, it's really a lot of money, and the majority can't really donate. They support, and they run in Speedos, and they participate, and they love what I do, but financially they can't support. So with doublejackl, I actually got access to funding from abroad, which will make the life or the developing of that app here very easy, because if it's $100,000, so I need 1,000 people who donate $100, then I can afford the app here. If I've got 1,000 people here, they have to pay quite a lot till I've got that amount of money in South African rand. So it gives me access to an international funding base, and people gamble, and that's normal. And if they know part of that goes to a charity, I think people by default love to give. We all love to give. It's a feel-good feeling. So if I gamble and I still give to a good cause or a humorous cause, or I can make a difference, I think it's just a perfect combination. That's why for me it works.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with one of the founders, Falk. He often mentions this, where if we could make money for charities by selling newspapers, we would, but it's not as effective as iGaming. And you've hit it on the head there. One of the key things that we can do is we're in the digital age. Us doing this interview, having the conversation about Love Your Nuts, about the partnership we've developed, is just the starting point. I mean, as we've developed our relationship, Torsten, I've realized that you have a massive outreach in the community as well, by abroad, from Cancer Alliance to other places. And you've introduced us to all of them. And I mean, we have a meeting tomorrow morning in discussion with one of them. And we've managed to have quite meaningful conversations already from your part. So I love that fact that you've pulled this audience together, that you've been an instigator there.
And well, if I compare it to other fundraising options, there's a lot of options there. Individuals run and cycle and raise funds. It's normally small amounts, and if it's massive, if it's a lot of people, then there's quite a bit coming in as well. But if I take in South Africa, I as a charity can apply for funding at Lottery South Africa. So then I'm one of the thousands of charities that applied there, and it takes months till you get a reply, and normally you don't get the money. So with doublejackl, it's actually the followers or the supporters, if they play, you've got a monthly thing coming back, which
Exactly.
if you apply for funding at the big foundations in the world, they all give money, but you have to have a very good proposal read by somebody that just loves what you do, then you've got a chance. And there's thousands of applications going in, and the chance that you get something, well, 6 months later you hear, no, you didn't get it. Yeah. So here it's different. If you've got a lot of supporters, it's a monthly income. It's a sustainable thing for the charity as well, because you can plan ahead, because you know monthly more or less this comes in from doublejackl. It makes planning for a charity way easier. If you need money from big foundations and you don't get it, then you actually can't do what you're planning. Then you're stuck because you need the funds.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel is like the key premise of this. What doublejackl actually entails is that it's not just funds for you, it's funds for your followers. So they can also do the same thing. So because you've onboarded your followers, you obviously earn money from what they spend. But say now one of your followers have a restaurant, have a hotel in their own right, and they choose to partner with you, put your QR code up in places, educate their hotel staff, you'd also be earning income from them, as they would be earning income themselves. So for every patron at a restaurant, every goer at a hotel, staying there, every business opportunity where there's a large amount of foot traffic, you actually earn a passive income from this. And the key thing is that who goes there and goes home will continue playing, because now they're supporting the charities, they're supporting a good cause. The games are pretty good on the site, if I'm going to be honest. And we've got this feedback loop of you do good to feel good, and now you're being good. So you do good to be good, and now you're feeling good, and it rotates between all three. And that's kind of that positive feedback loop, at least that I've realized from working with all of the companies. So somebody goes to you, Torsten, they're a donor, but they also see the value in this for their business. Now they onboard their business has got 50 salespeople, and the business owner tells them all, this is something that we've got in Canada actually, the business owner tells them, well, here's $100, play what you want to play, and then take it, learn it, we'll train you for it so that you can start selling to other businesses and making a passive income for yourself. Because gosh knows, currently economically, we could all use a bit of extra $100, $200 a month just to get by.
And for people, if you've got a fundraiser where you sell raffles, then you always feel, okay, I give something, I know I'm not going to get anything back. But now you play online, and you know a part of that money goes. It doesn't feel you make, or you doesn't feel as guilty that you're playing because you're doing something good, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not wasting money, and you're not wasting money, because part of that money. Well, what I actually want to say is, if you play online, you don't pay more because you support a charity. The money that you spent, part of that money, doesn't matter how much you spend, part of that money goes to charity. Is not, if I support a charity, I have to pay $10 more because the $10 go to a charity. So it doesn't make a difference in the money you spend.
Exactly. I mean, the key is also, doublejack does not take a portion of your winnings, so please note that as well. I just want to say that up front. It's actually on what you spend. So if you win the lottery, oath to God, we will be the most happy company for you. We pray that happens. We really want you to win $1 billion. Well, any lottery is $1 billion rand lottery. The way these overseas lotteries are weighted. I mean, I had a look on the website earlier, and the Powerball is at over 8 billion, and the Mega Millions is 8 billion, and the Powerball is 764 billion. That is quite relevant for us. I do love the dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's exactly what I wanted to really analyze with you, is where you saw the value, how you saw it working for you. And now ultimately the last piece is actually that I just want to cover is the outreach, and how you've basically identified who you want to have conversations with and who you want to do introductions with, and that process that you've been thinking about.
Well, being active in the cancer world in South Africa, so if you participate at marathons, there's a lot of other charities there. It's not always cancer charities. So you meet other organizations, and they all have the same need. They all need money, and that's why they do these fundraising events, that they can do, that they have money to do what they would love to do, the change that they like to do, or the impact that they like to have in the society. So I reached out to charities in South Africa where I know, first of all, where I know the owner that I met, and we had a discussion, and they in the same boat kind of thing, say, well, this is what we plan, but first we have to get X amount before we can do this. So they all need money. That's why I mentioned it to them. And a selling point for me is also, you don't pay a membership fee. It doesn't cost you a thing. Because often if you join these other platforms or organization, or you be part of a fundraiser thing, then you have to pay in to be part of that. So, but if you a charity that just started, you don't have money to pay a membership fee, because you hardly exist. You work from home and try to get things up and running. And with doublejack, you don't need a membership fee. You join them and you try to get your supporters to join, and that earns you a cut of the money that's been spent.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way to look at it. How I would want to make that analogy is, how does a person, just a normal follower, then support you? Your QR code is in the top left hand of the screen for me, maybe the top right when you're watching it, and all it takes is a scan, a play, and then you supporting Love Your Nuts directly, and then you also have the opportunity to earn. And if we're talking about earning, I would just like to quickly share one of my screens at the moment, just so that I can show you when we're talking about the actual income potential for a normal business. So let me present share screen. There we go. So this is the doublejack.club page, where you can find the converters. So under our charities, you'll see all of our charities, like Torsten's beautiful page with humans and Speedos. Again, I do love it. It's one of my favorite art projects that I've seen. Just a quick show of Torsten's actual events that he does. Then, so you can see he's actually a real person, besides the blue glasses that he's got on. Then for charities, for instance, so if we look at what the average person can earn, let me go for actual influencers, since the average person would be an influencer looking to earn from their group. If you had 10,000 people and we converting them all, every single one of those 10,000 people are playing the lotteries that you've converted, you're looking at an extra $37,500 a month. That's an incredible amount of money on a monthly basis that will top up your family's lifestyle. So think of what you can do with it. Cue the moment where I say, donate a portion of that to Torsten to help him develop Love Your Nuts globally. But that is literally what is on the table for you to earn, to learn, and to achieve. Key notes for me there. So I just wanted to show that, get everybody to understand exactly the financial ramifications of what we do, how we do it, and where we earn. And then just anything from your side, Torsten, any tips, any tricks, anything that you've seen working with doublejack that you'd like to let the people know as well?
Well, I think I've got quite a lot of followers and connected to all the testicle cancer charities in the world. So we support each other. So if I post something on social media, a lot of the other charities, they like it or they retweet it or they share it. And we share each other's stuff because we all got the same goal, raising awareness for testicular cancer. And because we all got different followers and live in different corners of the world, we're actually not a competition if it comes to doublejack, because we've got, like I said, I've got mainly South African followers. The guys in Canada, they will have Canadians or Australians in Australia. So it's not that we grab each other's supporters, because they normally support the charity in their country. And because doublejack is a worldwide thing, so they can play it anywhere.
I love it. It's exactly that. It is a worldwide thing, and we look to engage on a global medium. And that's probably one of the key points that we have to look at, is every single person that is under your social media following will get the same QR code, will get the same URL in their back office. When they log in, they can literally scan this and then play and support. Then they'll get the notification emails to activate their own accounts and then actually get the opportunity to earn their own income with this. And that means that by doing so, they'll also be supporting you and helping you develop Love Your Nuts. That's the most powerful thing that I can
in a nutshell, basically.
Yes, in a nutshell, definitely. And yeah, I mean, your link is now on the top left. So anybody that takes the time, scan it, support, please. I do love Your Nuts. It's one of my favorites, as I said. Take the time. Well, I guess every charity is my favorite because people need to work and develop it. But the key thing you need to know about doublejack, the time and the effort that you put in to build the connections, to do the outreach, is well rewarded. So take the time. The value is there. This is a never before seen or used income option for you as your business to develop. So that would be the number one thing that we need to look at getting done. Developing your organization, developing your charities, developing your business, developing yourself. Yeah. So that's basically all that I had to cover and to question. Frank, are you still there?
Yes, thank you for the very good interview and all your answers to the question of Dale. We're very happy to work with you because the things you are telling are very practical, because you know what you're speaking about, you know how to share the information, and you have your story. And always the best for all the people which have cancer and will get an early treatment to get better and so on. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much.
I just have one closing message, basically. So I just wanted to quickly cover. So the doublejackl membership at doublejackl is always free. Your invitation will be sent to you in your email automatically. And then once you sign up at doublejack.online, this all takes place. In your club membership email, you'll find your login and password to your members area, where you get your own personal invitation link, and your QR code is also located. Then invite your friends, your followers, and even the businesses to play along with your link and receive a share of the spendings that they would make every month in your back office. So raise your share by telling your invited friends and businesses how they can also obtain their own perpetual income too. And just one last time, please look at supporting doublejack.online/love-your-nuts. So just need to put that back in there. Thank you for the time, Torsten.
Thanks for having me. Thanks
and
for having me.
Thank you, Frank. What an absolute pleasure as well. I can't wait to make this a weekly thing. It was actually an absolute blast to get to hear those stories again.
Okay, thank you, folks. And if anybody has questions or want to have contact to us, you can write us an email. You can write in the subjects, in the questions below the videos, and on the webpage you have contact information whenever you want. We're happy to have you. Thank you, and all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.